Would you risk everything to save a helpless creature while danger lurks nearby? Amara did. But what happened next was unforgettable. Was it trust? Instinct? Or something deeper? Dive into this emotional rescue and share your thoughts in the comments. Under the scorching African sun, the patrol vehicle moved slowly across the savanna, leaving a thin trail of dust in its wake. Amara was behind the wheel, her sharp eyes scanning the tall grass and scattered rocks. Nothing escaped her attention. As a seasoned ranger, she knew the wild always held unexpected surprises. Suddenly, in the distance, a faint whimper carried by the wind reached her ears. That sound. It was just enough to grab her attention. Amara immediately hit the brakes and signaled her team to stop. "Did you hear that?" she asked, her voice low and focused. Malik, a young ranger, tilted his head to listen, then nodded. "Sounds like a lion cub." The team quickly got out of the vehicle and moved toward the source of the sound. Amara pushed aside the dense vegetation. What she saw made her heart clench. A lion cub, about 3 months old, was stuck inside an old steel pipe, probably left behind from an abandoned construction site. Its wide golden eyes were filled with panic. Its front legs were deeply trapped, and its head was pressed tightly against the pipe's edge. Scratches on its skin and its dusty fur showed it had been struggling for a long time, without success. Amara knelt down, keeping just enough distance to avoid frightening the cub even more. "It's okay, little one," she whispered in a soft, soothing voice. She knew a calm tone could ease the animal's fear. Suddenly, Malik tapped her shoulder, his voice tense. "Amara, look." She turned her head, and her heart began to race. Not far away, at the top of a small hill, a pride of lions was watching them. A large lioness, probably the cub's mother, was staring intently in their direction. Her ears were perked, her muscles tense, ready to charge at any moment. Other lions, including 2 males and several females, stood nearby. They hadn't attacked, but their presence filled the air with a thick, palpable tension. "If we move too fast or hurt the cub, the pride won't hesitate to attack," Amara murmured. Her eyes remained locked on the lioness. Malik swallowed hard. "So, what do we do?" Amara took a deep breath, her voice steady and calm. "We move quickly, but carefully. If the mother realizes we're helping her cub, she might not attack." She needed to assess the cub's condition. She knelt down and gently placed a hand on its small body. The moment she touched it, the cub flinched and let out a faint growl, but it was too exhausted to resist. She could feel its heart pounding rapidly beneath her palm. "You're scared, aren't you?" she whispered, gently stroking its back to reassure it. "Hold on, little one. We're going to get you out." She closely examined the trapped area. The edges of the steel pipe were rusty, and the inside was rough, likely the reason the cub had gotten stuck. Pulling it out by force could cause serious injuries. "We need to moisten the area around its body to reduce friction," said Amara. She grabbed a clean cloth and a medical kit, soaked the cloth with water, and gently poured it over the cub's neck and shoulders. The dust washed away, revealing soft skin underneath. "Now, let's try to slide it out," she signaled to Malik. He knelt down, one hand gently supporting the cub's head, while the other steadied Amara. Amara placed both hands on the cub's hips and gently pushed forward. The cub squirmed weakly, but its body barely moved. It whimpered, its legs trembling. "It's not working," she said, shaking her head. "The pipe's too tight. If we force it, we might dislocate something or make it worse." She glanced toward the pride. The lioness had moved closer. Her body had lowered slightly, and her tail was flicking sharply, a sign of anxiety or possibly an imminent attack. Amara made a quick decision. "We need to cut the pipe."
Malik immediately ran back to the vehicle to retrieve the metal cutter. Meanwhile, Amara kept gently stroking the cub's back to keep it calm. The tool's engine roared to life as the blade began cutting through the steel. Sparks flew, startling the cub. But Amara quickly placed her hand on its forehead, whispering reassuring words. "Almost done, little one. Just hold on." Bit by bit, they cut along the length of the pipe, taking extreme care not to hurt the animal.
Amara could feel the tension rising. The lions were growing more and more restless. Finally, after more than 20 nerve-wracking minutes, the last section of metal gave way. Amara immediately crouched down, slid her hands under the cub's hips, and gently pulled it free. It let out a small cry, its body trembling. But as soon as it was released, it stood up on shaky legs. Suddenly, a deep roar tore through the air. The lioness was charging straight at them. "Back away, now!" shouted Malik. The team slowly stepped back, never taking their eyes off the lioness. It was the cub. After a brief moment of hesitation, it finally recognized its mother. It blinked, then sprinted toward her. As soon as it reached her, the lioness bent down, sniffed him thoroughly, and gently licked his forehead. Amara let out a breath of relief. She wasn't sure if the lioness truly understood what they had done, but in that moment the look in her eyes no longer showed pure hostility. As the pride slowly disappeared into the dense brush, Amara remained standing, her eyes fixed on the small figure of the cub nestled against its mother's legs. A soft breeze swept through, carrying the distinctive scent of the African plains, still mixed with the tension of what had just happened. Malik joined her, still catching his breath from the intense encounter. He glanced at Amara with a faint smile. "You think the lioness knows we saved her cub?" Amara tilted her head, thinking back to that moment when the lioness had locked eyes with her before turning away. It wasn't gratitude in the human sense, but it wasn't hostility either. It was something in between, a silent acknowledgement. "I don't know," she replied. A faint smile tugged at her lips. But maybe for just a moment she understood that we weren't her enemies. Malik chuckled softly and patted her shoulder. "Either way, this day will never be forgotten." The team gathered their equipment, extinguished the last sparks from the cutter, and climbed back into the vehicle as the engine rumbled back to life. Amara cast one final glance at the vast landscape, bathed in a golden-red sunset that cloaked the wild in warmth. She knew there would be many challenges ahead: trapped animals, poachers, and the unpredictable forces of nature. But in that very moment, seeing a small life regain its freedom, she knew every effort had been worth it. As their vehicle drove away from the scene, a small silhouette suddenly appeared at the edge of the trees. It was the lion cub. For a brief instant, it turned and looked back at them, its golden eyes glowing under the twilight sky.
Then, as if it understood it had been given a second chance, it took a step forward and followed its mother into the wild, where it truly belonged. Amara smiled. Then she drove away, letting nature continue its own story. This tale shines a light on the deep bond between humans and wildlife. A bond built on compassion, courage, and conservation.
Amara's daring rescue embodies humanity's duty to protect nature. The lioness's cautious yet accepting reaction suggests an unspoken trust. This story also reminds us of the unintended harm that human activity can cause to wildlife, and the importance of awareness. In the end, the cub's return to the wild symbolizes freedom and the lasting impact of kindness. If you love powerful stories about courage and our connection with the natural world, don't forget to click like to support us. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss one of our inspiring stories. And if this video moved you, share it with your loved ones to help spread this message of kindness and wildlife protection. Thank you for being part of this journey.